knot there is, and that is the overhand knot. So this video is for people who find themselves having a hard time remembering how to tie knots. Most people will know the overhand knot. The overhand knot is used as a simple stopper knot in most cases, but it can be used as a light binding knot as well. And I'm going to show you how to, by using just the overhand knot, how to create a couple of other knots. So here we go. So the first two knots that we're going to do with the overhand knot are fixed loop knots. So what we want to do is we're going to start at the end of a rope and create an overhand knot, and then we're going to snug that up. Now we're going to come down the end of the length of the rope a little ways, in our case probably about 16, 18 inches, and we're going to create another overhand knot. This time we're going to leave it just slightly loose. Now we'll take our end where we have our overhand knot tied, and we'll just slip it right back down inside of that overhand knot. And then we'll tighten up the second one. Tighten that one up. Now as the second overhand knot bumps against it, you've created yourself a simple fixed loop knot. And this is known as the arbor knot. This next variation of a fixed loop knot, utilizing the overhand knot, is called the Englishman's loop. And this one's actually a little bit better. So this one we're going to start a little bit differently. First, we're going to tie the overhand knot that goes in the line first. So we'll tie a simple overhand knot about 16, 18 inches down the rope. Then we're going to take the end of our rope, our working end, and we're going to go back down through that overhand knot. Now we want, with the tail, we're going to tie another overhand knot, only this time we're going to make sure that we capture the standing end. So we're just going to tie a simple overhand knot that goes around the standing end, and then we'll snug that knot up. Then we'll snug our original overhand knot up, and now we can pull them apart, and this creates another fixed loop knot. This one is known as the Englishman's loop, and I actually like this one a little bit better than that first one. Now the next two knots that we're going to look at are bend knots. These are used to tie two lines together, and we're going to be using one of the most simplified forms of this. So to start with, we'll tie a moderately loose overhand knot in our first line. Now with our second line, all we want to do is we want to just retrace that overhand knot by going in the opposite direction with the other line. So we'll go down through, we'll come around. Let's get ourselves a little bit more tail. We'll go around, and then we'll just follow this one right back out, just tracing along that original overhand knot. Make sure that we get everything so that it lays in there correctly, and then we can pull them apart. And this is one of the most simple bend knots that you can make. This one is called the water knot, and it's generally used to tie webbing and strap together, but you can use it in rope and line as well. Now keep in mind that this knot will jam incredibly tightly, and likely you'll have to cut it off to get it apart. Now this last knot is a simplified version of a knot that I use quite a little bit to make loops. This one is called the fisherman's bend. So we're just going to make the single fisherman's bend. We're going to have our two lines facing opposite of one another. And then with one line, we're going to create our overhand knot so that it goes around and captures the other line. We'll tie a simple overhand knot. And then we'll, going in the opposite direction, now with the other line, we'll again tie a simple overhand knot, making sure that we capture the standing end of the other line. So we've just created two overhand knots that go around the opposing standing parts. Now when we pull those two knots together, the two overhand knots jam together, and this creates what's known as the fisherman's bend. Now usually this is tied with the double or the triple fisherman's bend, but I wanted to show the simplified version, which utilizes just a simple overhand knot. So those are four different knots for those that have trouble remembering how to tie knots using just the simple overhand knot, which I believe pretty much everybody out there knows. I hope this is helpful for those that find themselves having trouble remembering how to tie certain knots. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for calling Mitchell Pest Control. This is Michael. How can I help you? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? This is Mitchell Pest Control. This is Michael. Do you have an infestation? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hey guys, it's Nick with the Whip Shop, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made this miniature 3-foot nylon bullwhip and how you can make one too. Having a miniature bullwhip is so much fun because you can literally just stick it in your pocket and take it anywhere. There's been so many times I've been with my friends at a restaurant, at a wedding, at a bonfire, wherever, and I'll meet new people and they'll ask me, what do you like to do for fun? What's your hobbies? What's your job? And I'll say, well, I'm a whip maker. And they say, a whip maker? I've never known a whip maker. You don't by chance have one with you, do you? And you go, as a matter of fact, I do. Quite literally reach into your pocket and pull out a fully functioning miniature whip. You crack it a couple times and they go, wow, their face lights up like, can I try? Absolutely. You hand it to them and you just perhaps sparked a brand new interest in something that would have never known about it. So it's so fun to have a miniature bullwhip because it not only kind of showcases your work to a potential client, but it's also just a fun conversation piece. Now, another obvious benefit to having one of these micro whips, in addition to just being able to put it in your pocket and take it anywhere, is the ability to use it in confined spaces. Now, an 8-foot whip, a 7-foot whip, even a 6-foot whip is pretty challenging to crack indoors unless you have a large room with high ceilings. Something like this, 3-foot bullwhip, add another foot for the fall, another 5 inches for the cracker, and I can get away with cracking this thing right underneath these maple trees. So obviously from the intro, I wanted to take a full-size whip. This just so happens to be a 20-plat 10-foot bullwhip, and I wanted to make something identical but scaled down, and that's what we came up with right here. This little whip is 3 feet long. It has a 12-plat overlay. All braided layers in this whip are braided with a material called whipmaker's cord. Several years ago, I was in pursuit of a paracord that was thinner and lighter than conventional 550 parachute cord. So I looked around online for a while and I contacted a company called the Paracord Store, presented my idea, and they were able to manufacture this wonderful thin parachute cord, which is not only great for miniature whips like this, but also full-size whips when you introduce a whole bunch of strands, your patterns can be so elaborate. There's a link in the description where you can purchase Whipmaker's cord from the Paracord store, so make sure you check that out. Now guys, this is going to be